What are you in the 1% of? I passed through the fire and flames on Guitar Hero 3 on Expert. I mean only 2% of Americans have epilepsy, and when you add in those that also have Tourette's, I bet it's closer to 1%. But what would I know? I'm just a tick-riddled epileptic. I have plexus excavatum. It happens in about 300,400 births, so less than 1% actually. Instead of growing normally, my ribs grew inward, causing a sort of bowl-like shape to my chest. Edit: I didn't expect this to blow up, so I'll be a bit more specific, since so many questions are coming in. No, I didn't have the NUS procedure, since mine isn't severe enough to affect my heart or lungs. I know 3 people that have it, and it is typically more common in males, but one of people I know that has it is a girl. My dad has it as well, although his is barely noticeable, since he has more developed pecs. I can and have ate cereal out of it on occasion, but usually just to show people that I can, since it ends up being pretty messy. I got Stevens-Johnson syndrome. Whatever ya do not Google Stevens-Johnson syndrome. I had to spend a week in a specialized burn unit out of state. I was told I might go blind, be unable to give birth, lose my hair and fingernails, go into multiple organ failure, and heck, I might even die. The plan was just pump me full of steroids, slather me in cream, wait and see. I had no skin left on or inside my mouth, including my tongue. Just endless sloughing off of skin/flesh along with scabs and clots of blood. Even with tons of mouth-numbing shit, I couldn't even swallow a milkshake without feeling like my mouth was full of broken glass shards. Eating was excruciating. I basically lived on Ensure, and it took forever to heal. Every day I'd wake up with my lips fused together. The first time I could eat again I cried, even though it was just Domino's. I also had irritated eyes, a blotchy blistering rash all over my body, my asshole and vagina were constantly in obscene pain, and I had to put dilators inside, to keep my birth canal from fusing together. Oh, and all the skin on the bottom of my feet peeled off in large ribbons repeatedly for months after. I came out of it with no lasting damage, apart from my psyche. Staring death in the face was cool. I was doing really well with that part actually, up until something unrelated to my illness, but quite traumatic occurred, while I was being treated in the hospital. So that sucked. And then plenty more horrific things ensued that kind of made this whole experience seem like such a tiny blip on the radar. Ah well, I'm at peace with it all now. But still, it's kind of neat how rare it is. My doctor told me he had been treating people for 30 years, and in all that time he only saw 3 other cases of SJS, 2 of which died. There is a 1 in 20,000 chance of getting it, if you take certain medications. I have a B blood type which only accounts for about 1% of the population. I have a freckle on the back of my eyeball. They have to give me regular checkups on whether it has become cancerous or not. My body is trying its best to kill me. Familial hypercholesterolemia, ADDPI, prolactinoma on my pituitary gland, diagnosed at very early stage breast cancer, 36-year mastectomy, came back in bones and lungs at 45 yo. What are the chances? Penis size. But not the 1% you would brag about. I was born with a neuromuscular disease called paroxysmal dyskinesis choreotosis. It sends false electrical signals from my brain to my muscles. Less than 1% of the world's population has a form of it, and it's non-life threatening, so there is next to zero research on it. I usually have headphones in, so I can make it look like I'm dancing, so I can play it off. Women who are very tall. I'm 6 feet 4 inches. I ran a 25,049 marathon. That puts me in the 1% of all humans. I have several types of synesthesia. Colors constantly in my head, and in my vision at times. Memories or feelings can trigger smells for me. For example, if I feel very comfortable with someone, that makes my head filled with the color green, and I can smell cinnamon. I've had a congenital glaucoma. Very rare since it is congenital. Edit: in first place, this is my most upvoted comment ever, and thank you for that. But, since many people asked, I'll quickly explain what a congenital glaucoma is. So, to those who want to know a little more about it, a congenital glaucoma is a mutation that affects the eyes or both. It causes an accumulation of a liquid that we have, in order to keep it wet, since the hole where it flows isn't opened, or is really tiny, resulting in a bigger ocular tension. This ocular tension can cause vision loss or blindness. For that reason, I was submitted to a surgery right after that being discovered, when I was 6 months old. In the country where I born, only 2 babies, me included, had this malformation, that were born in the same year as me. I've never met someone with it, only a few Redditors today, making it a little special and rare. Everything is okay and I wish the best to everybody reading this, especially the ones who have this amazing detail. Thank you. %3 of people are sensitive to sulfur, but only 3% of the 3% are truly allergic. I fall in the 3% of people that are truly allergic. Some people haven't read the other comments of me correcting everything. I admitted that it was indeed sulfur, because I finally looked up everything for myself. My parents had always told me that I was allergic to sulfur, and I didn't think to question it until now. Getting 39 gallstones at the age of 25. From my 17th year on, I sometimes had inexplicable pain radiating from my side to my back, so heavy that I couldn't breathe or sleep. Every doctor had different ideas, but nothing really helped. Years later, when I was 25, a nice friend said to me, "The next time you are in pain because of this, we will drive to the military hospital. In my city it is possible for civilians to go there too." So there was a very young doctor who took his time to ultrasound all my organs. Then he found these amount of gallstones. He was surprised, because in my age normally you don't get them. After a surgery with gallstones and bladder removal, I finally felt better. I'm very thankful that there was a doctor who was motivated enough to try everything to find the problem. Well, not to brag, but my dog thinks him pretty much the best thing since wet food. I'd say top 1% in giving head scratches and belly rubs. Unique surnames. There are exactly 18 of us in the world, ever. 8 of us are still alive. My grandfather initiated my family's unique last name after emigrating to the US. He picked a name, but spelled it strangely, to stay true to his roots. As far as any of us have been able to find, given new stuff like Ancestry and Facebook, were everyone. My father's 2 brothers never had any sons, so my brother and I are the only ones who could ever pass on my name in a traditional with efficacious /name sense. He doesn't want kids, so it's up to me. My son will be the 4th generation, and will be, name, 4th like the 4th all the way to the first ever man. Not me, but a very close friend of mine acquired this unknown disease that cost her the ability to walk. She lived a perfectly normal life, and did nothing to warrant that, and the doctors have no clue why it happened. All her tests come up normal. They even reached out to other doctors in the world for info on similar patients, and came up with nothing. So she's definitely in the 1% of people with that illness, and I hope so badly we'll find out something, for her sake. I'm in the 1% of people that can say they were shot in the face at point blank range, and literally caught the bullet in their mouth, and then spit it out on the ground in front of the shooter. ? Greater than sign ? For context, I got shot in the face while being carjacked. The bullet went in about an inch in front of my left ear, went through my cheekbone, through my maxillary sinus, through my maxilla bone, then came to a stop once it hit the large massive bone in the roof of my mouth. The ballistic pressure and energy from the bullet blew a hole through the roof of my mouth a size slightly smaller than a ping pong ball, and a combination of the bone exploding and shattering, the blood pouring out, and a little gravity, together, caused the bullet to fall through that hole, and into my mouth. I ended up spitting it out on the ground when I got out of the vehicle, thinking it was a tooth. Wasn't until medical personnel told me later that it was the bullet that I had spit out, and that I ended up not losing any teeth. This question has had me in a dilemma for about 3 hours now, and finally I conclude that I'm just too damn average. Thanks op for making me realize this during my vacations. Thank you for watching. Please consider giving this video a like, and remember to subscribe and hit that bell button, as we add new Reddit readouts every day. See you next time. Bye.